All right. I think we're good to go now. I'm starting to hear it come through. Okay. So we're all set. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared. It is February 28th, 2022. Happy Monday to all joining us. And as always, welcome to a new week for trade. Now, it's been a pretty tumultuous past couple of sessions. And as always, as we start off each and every week, I like to try and quantify how volatile the market has been from a relative standpoint. It's easy to say that the market has been throwing up some wide trading range. That is, of course, evident with the size of our candles and some of the intraday price swings. But from a notional sense, how volatile has the market been relative to what has been priced? Has the market expected some of this movement, and have they been accurate in their pricing? Which brings us to the SPX expected move for last week and the week ahead. So, looking back at last week, and remember, last week was a 4-day trading session. So we didn't necessarily have all 5 sessions to see price activity. And yet the market was pricing in about a $121 expected move. Now, this was notable because the previous week we stayed inside the expected move. But additionally, the week was shorter, and yet we had a lot of overhead catalyst news. We had a lot of discussion about the ongoing Russian-Ukraine situation and the overall effects that this could have in response by the Fed, and whether or not they are going to adjust any timeline expectations for tapering or even rising Fed rate hikes. So all of this uncertainty pricing into the market, and the market was only looking at about a $121 expected move. One of the things that we are doing here is looking at what the market actually did. What was the actual movement on the week? And when we look at the close from Friday to the absolute low, since this was sort of a downtrending week at the beginning, we're looking at a market that moved approximately 235 points. Now, when you say it in this context, what does this mean? It means that the market expected a certain amount of movement, and they got it very wrong. In fact, they got it 193% wrong. Essentially, the midpoint to the lows, that is the overall movement that the market actually experienced. And when you talk in this sort of more quantitative approach, it gives you a sense of both how volatile last week was and the actual recovery from low to high. Thinking just about Thursday and Friday's session, which of course we talked last Thursday about the apparent risk if the market were to breach much lower than the gap down open. But market, of course, did recover. And when you're looking at the low to high transition of the market, you understand that we actually moved 2 times the expected move for the week in just 2 sessions. Essentially, a weekly range was traversed in one session, from low to high, the actual bounce of the market, along with the actual Friday session, which of course closed higher than the previous Friday close, traversing that expected movement and also seeing plenty of overall range from that absolute low to the high, essentially 200% of movement. So when talking about expected move, and sort of the topic this week is going to be focused around some of the market generated information. The approach that we take each and every week is that whenever markets are experiencing wilder price activity, especially in regards to a weekly expected move breach, there are some dynamics that can take place even though the most probable scenario is that most of the time the market will go back into its expected move bounce. Now, this can take multiple forms. You can see things like very mild breaches and then a return into this trading range. You can see a market that basically never tests or even breaches these expected move bounds. And then you can see weeks like last week, where the market did have a recovery phase, albeit it is sort of fueled by other forces in the market. Albeit we still closed within the expected move bounds for the week. And that's what's notable. That's the market generating sort of a factual statement for us to interpret. What did the market do? Did they price it in correctly? And although the volatility on the week was high, technically they still got the expected move correct, which is the weekly close did land within this expected move bounds, even though we did have a breach on Thursday. Now, the reason this is so important is most of the time that is what occurs. That is a more probable scenario for the option market. And it's one of the reasons why we look at this so closely. When the market fails to do so, and this was sort of the warning that was given on Thursday, if the market were to continue lower, there are forces at play that provide hedging and provide some, I would say, additional downside pressure in regards to expected move breaches, especially to the downside. We talked about that extensively with the idea of volatility hedging and how certain firms will sell ES futures contracts if the expected move is breached. But as always, price action is king. Trends are typically meant to be followed. And over the following two sessions on Thursday, we certainly had a very strong bullish uptrend with plenty of opportunity to take advantage of what is a more probable scenario, returning to the expected move range. So in summary, the reason I like to look at this and the reason I bring it to attention is it gives us a little bit of expectation as to what to look for on certain intraday sessions. And additionally, if you're playing the expected move week over week, let's say you're out there selling premium, you need to understand that there are going to be events like this where the expected move not only can be breached, but your position might be tested. No matter how far you sell out of the money, assuming you're not, let's say, at a 0.1 delta, something that's very improbable. These expected move breaches are meant to test those positions. If you're selling condors, strangles, or straddles, and basically just playing an income selling strategy week over week, the market doing these types of breaches is something to look out for and to be prepared for. Ultimately, if you had been in position and simply held through that volatility, for the most part, depending on what product you chose, your position was tested, but it wasn't necessarily fully at risk. It wasn't necessarily seeing the expected move decline further and further away from those ranges. So that is something to note moving ahead, because it'll sort of dictate strategy, which is last week's topic about stepping into some of that volatility with verticals or just using risk-defined positions outright. And then additionally, until this volatility is over, we're likely to see these types of swings, these larger price moves, both to the downside. And as you saw on Thursday and Friday, the upside can be just as volatile. So no matter which direction you're choosing, volatility plays in both directions. It is agnostic to your directional bias. So for the week ahead, this week's expected move is 126.42 points in the SPX. The March 4th expiration is pricing in to about 45.11 on the top side, and then 42.58 to the downside. Now, in our market open, as we shift into our normal discussions, the S&Ps are opening with a slight gap down open. We're seeing the market still have some volatility coming in over the weekend session, and we're seeing some volatility amidst different products along with different currencies. So the S&Ps are down on the pre-market, obviously a 2-day rally that they're coming off of. So I think a lot of maybe potentially eager bulls willing to step into some of this volatility may wish to buy this drop and potentially form structurally some sort of inverse head and shoulder for the market to essentially retest some of these upper bounds or these upper price levels. We'll obviously look for those confirmations and signals throughout the week, as the past 2 weeks were quite a big range to interpret and ultimately define risk in regards to some of the new positions. And one of the reasons I kind of am looking for that is based around the topic today, which is just market generated information. And one thing I'll do here is kind of clean up this chart and review some of this information just outright. So on the weekly, whenever we're looking at any particular product, there's some very clear areas that need to be addressed moving forward. First and foremost, the January 24th low, very important sell swing for most products in this market. And while not every single stock bottomed on that particular day, some actually made new swing lows over the following couple of sessions, it is a date to keep in mind. And when thinking about relative support, at least in the short term, this particular price level is notable, both from its volume profile and also its reaction overall, basically what happened afterwards. Now, if I take trend lines from high to low, these trend lines have been sort of the evaluation standard for whether or not the market is at risk for new highs or potentially a new sell swing. Obviously, the market lost a lot of ground on that sell, and as the bounce commenced, there was signals that this trend line was about to hold. For example, the double top in the SPY, that gap structure that we've already evaluated. These are all bits of information that the market has generated for us. They're not opinionated, they're not biased, they're simply what the chart is telling us. And there are some nuances with volume and structure and obviously trying to interpret that risk in the moment. But at the end of the day, the market bottomed. We formed a weekly lower high, and that trend line was a guide as to whether or not that particular bounce was going to form the market into a new uptrending market, or if we were going to see potentially another sell swing as we moved away from resistance. Now, this trend line has been our key guide for a while. It's marked off at the absolute all-time high. I'll go ahead and look at a 4-hour just to show it. And what you're trying to do here is just trying to be as unbiased as possible with this sort of technical analysis. You're taking the all-time high, you're marking the first reaction off of a sell swing, which is something where a daily lower high forms a new daily lower low. And then you're looking at the confluence. There's plenty of intraday sessions that have topped near this resistance point, and arguably it's been the key driver for resistance in the market. This is where the market tends to sell. And even if we get a breach, there was other clues as to whether or not that was going to lead to higher prices. The idea of the gap that formed in this area and then the filling of that gap, completing a technical, I would say, a roundabout sort of move, and then also acting as double top resistance. So all this information is simply being generated. It isn't, once again, it's not opinionated, it's not biased, it's just what the chart is telling you at the moment. And this view on markets is how technical traders behave. It's the idea that regardless of what the news, regardless of the asset itself, understanding what is presented as opportunity, what is risk, where's resistance, where's support, where is the market telling me to be bullish or bearish? What is changing in the market, and is any new signal starting to form? So obviously moving forward, let's take a look at what some new market generated signals have been over the past sell swing. Well, obviously we have a pretty impressive bottoming event. Whether or not this holds moving forward, whether or not this is enough to simply lead us to new all-time highs, that's a question maybe for a larger discussion. But in the short term, let's talk about our downtrend. Let's talk about how the market moved to the right. And as the market was starting to trend lower, a new trend line formed in the market. Now, this is, of course, separated from the major trend line that we just interpreted, but it's the same concept. A double top high has moved price over in regards to where a new trend can form. We're not necessarily in the same area of the chart, and therefore there are new trend lines to evaluate, especially since we have a new daily lower high after a double top weekly lower high formed, and that of course led to our new sell swing. Even though the sell swing had a lack of follow through, it is technically a new low, and therefore we need to interpret the price and the reaction around these levels appropriately. Now, looking at this new trend line, you can see that it has some confluence with the major trend line, the one that the market is trying to essentially break bullish from its all-time high. That certainly will be a notable market generated event. But in the short term, our downtrend is marked off of this double top high and the daily lower high that formed. Obviously it gets a little bit more interpretive as you get into these levels, but this is information that is, once again, not generated by any sort of nuance. It's simply marking absolute highs in the chart and seeing where this trend line holds. Now, what occurred on Friday was a bit notable. Not only did we see continuation off of a very massive, I would say low to high transition, a very notable candle in intraday session, but the Friday high was able to close above our trend line. So what this is saying is that if there is an attempt to break over Friday's high, which is the level that was able to breach the trend line, then the market may be advertising to us that there is a bullish structure trying to form. Now, where can this bullish structure lead? What are some targets if the market decides to break out? Well, one thing would be the secondary, or the prime, I guess in this case, the primary resistance line. That one, of course, is the one that the market really needs to test and break out from. But as you can see, it's not really too far away from price. So if we pull back down and we see a retest of, let's say, 440, sort of the relative pricing currently, then that's the market trying to test its primary downtrend retracement line, or the primary downtrend line overall. The secondary has had a breach, and that breach is what the market is going to be trading around and dictating the next move for us as technical traders. In the same way as this breach was interpreted, and yet we had other information, other market generated information for us to say that this one's probably not going to hold. It's hitting resistance at the time of the breach. And secondly, the gap high provided enough resistance for the market to sell through with confirming volume and obviously the follow through that occurred on the daily lower high, the back test of resistance, and then the sell swing. These are all tradable events, all things that we can step into as traders and say, I had information that allowed me to take the trade. The market was telling me what to do in that moment. And in that same way, we can look forward to this week amidst everything that's going on in the world, amidst what is the most relevant topics in our news cycle. And obviously, there's going to be some volatility. We have some new Fed discussions this week. We obviously have any ongoing information about Russia and Ukraine, and then just a earnings cycle that's coming to a close. Not necessarily the highest market cap names, but there's still earnings out there, and those names are going to shake the market in different ways, especially from a sympathy perspective. Some of these stocks have high correlation coefficients to names that actually can move the market. But amidst all that, what is the market generating for us as information, and how can we take it moving forward? So in summary, whether you're out there as an option trader, you may want to understand that the expected moves have been getting breached. Not necessarily every single week, but last week was notable. Not only that, but the expected move breach happened overnight. So as an options trader, you actually had to basically survive an overnight gap down against the expected move. And it was a 2 sigma deviation, which is why we discussed it so heavily on Thursday. That is just part of the market's condition right now. And if you're trading around that, understand that that is your risk profile. You want to build strategy and trade ideas around that risk profile until it subsides. You want to be protected, but also step into some of the volatility. It's some of the best trading ranges we've seen in a while. And obviously that's opportunity staring at us in the face. Additionally, the bullish and bearish argument of the market is something that I try to not discuss heavily. At the end of the day, we are still in a downtrend, but that downtrend is starting to crack. There are areas of the market that are certainly relevant for whether we should be thinking pure bullish, pure bearish, and obviously shorter term opportunities with support, resistance, and just notable TA being applied. What's working, what's not, what's the most likely scenario. At the end of the day, though, what the market is showing is large volatility. I mean, these absolute weekly highs and lows represent large movement in the overall S&Ps. We're talking about 8 to 9% low to high. And then, of course, on the downside, as this is, from a percentage basis, much steeper of a decline, about a 10% correction from the most recent high to the absolute low. So the market's going through very corrective, volatile, and obviously on the bounces, the same idea applies. These are almost bear market rally style rallies off of the lows. Stepping into this as an intraday trader, you want to be thinking about that, because on Thursday and Friday, if you were trading in that environment, you basically didn't have to be accurate. You didn't really even have to be sized in very well. The market volatility gave you so much range that even if you're trading small, even if you're not necessarily the most accurate with your entries, as long as you're managing that expectation, you're able to step in with a position and see plenty of upside opportunity. It was a trend day on Thursday and Friday. Market really didn't pull back. Market was trending. There's plenty of signals for that. We can discuss that maybe tomorrow. Friday in particular was one of the most clear trend days to the upside I've seen in a long time. There are very clear signals for that, market generated signals that keep you on the right side of the trade and also keep your perspective open as to what the market is doing versus what you think it should be doing. remove your bias, allow the market to tell you the right trade setup, the right trade opportunity, and you'll find that a lot of times you'll be in the right position, obviously with the right, risk controls and everything in between, and hopefully able to just hang on to let the market do what it needs to do. This is true for the option side, which we already discussed, and of course the equity, intraday, or even swing trade mentality here. All that said, I'm looking at Thursday's low as a very absolute low for now. To breach that low would be not only significant, but even more impactful from the January 24th low. The reason being is, compared to this low, the market was able to balance itself out, basically to trade for a couple of days, and the sellers were already in momentum beforehand, at least on the intraday sessions. They weren't really at risk, especially over the past two sessions before that low was printed. And obviously, as we broke out, that's when the covering probably began. What's different about this most recent bounce is selling did occur here. And over the past 2 days, we basically stopped that selling. We've ceased the selling quickly, and the depth of penetration or the retracement size has been notable, especially since we're going back into trend days to the downside. I like to look at that as an opportunity for not necessarily going bullish, but if you're willing to step into premium selling trades, there's a lot of stocks that have basically stopped the selling based on that information. And if you're looking at not necessarily being bullish, but being neutral to slightly bullish, maybe conservatively bullish, risk-defined bullish, this level, whatever stock you choose, is one that has differences compared to this low. The volume is still high, but the way that the price has stopped the selling is different. It's notably different. And additionally, since we're seeing a slight breach of the secondary downtrend line, that's some ideas for the week ahead. Obviously, play that appropriately and understand that we still have overnight risk overall. So with that said, my name is Jared. This is Engineering the Markets. Let's take a look and see how this generated information moves ahead. And we're obviously going to play for targets as we see those signals, both to the primary resistance line, but also looking at maybe some VPOC volume profile type scenarios. And of course, the most aggressive target would be the top side of our weekly range. And that, of course, is going to be something to look out for as we move ahead. So let's trade safe. Let's obviously give the market the respect it deserves, and look forward to more information this week. Stay tuned for pre-market prep, and we'll talk more then.
All right, guys, good morning. Welcome to Pre-Market Prep. Hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hope you guys had an incredible weekend. Good morning, Norm. How are you doing today? Oh, hold on a
Face
second,
this
Norm.
morning?
There you go. Now I can hear you. Go ahead, Norm.
I said, good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, my friend. I'm trying to get my
I
camera working
I,
here.
I was gonna say I don't get to see your beautiful face
Y-
this morning.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I reset it a couple of times. That's why we're running a little bit behind on my end, and it's just not trying to pick up today. So I'll try it a few times when we're doing announcements or
All
before,
right.
so you can get it going. Um,
Cyber attack. The Russians are after you.
yes, they're after my miserable little camera over here. All right, guys, let's get to it. Our gappers list this morning. A couple of things
Before
in
we
the
get into
green.
that, guys, just a
Yeah, yeah,
reminder: if you would hit that thumbs up for Jared, sincerely appreciate it. It really does help the show.
absolutely, guys. Thank you for that very, very much. Oh, that was the wrong button. There we go. Thank you for that. Definitely show some support. Is very, very much appreciated. Um, Guys, gappers list today. We got a couple of things gapping up this morning. A lot in the red. And the SPY obviously doing its thing, right? Down 1.4 this morning. Dropped a lot more, I believe, right? Have bounced quite a bit from the low. So we're looking interesting there as we was last week as well. We'll see where this goes. So, Norm, overall market data and SPY this morning.
Spies down 1.5%, dropping as we speak a little bit more. Q, same thing. Turns out the market doesn't like the potential for nuclear war.
Yep. That's a
We've got
fact.
a little bit of we've got a little bit of data coming out today in Chicago PMI at 945, but I mean obviously the macro is going to be the bigger part of that. I believe Ukraine sent a delegation to the border of Belarus to meet with the Russians, potential peace talks. Who knows how that'll go? When that happens, sometimes the Russians poison people. So I don't know. We'll see.
Hmm.
It's a scary time right now. Prayers for everybody over there dealing with it, and hopefully, uh, hopefully there's a peaceful resolution sometime soon.
Cannot agree with that anymore. Um, all right, let's take a look at what we have going on this morning, guys. Let's take a look at our gappers list. We'll hop over here and see what do we have for today. Starting with Reggie on our gap up list, REGI, excuse me. And let's go ahead and
It's a
actually look at
buyout.
trade ideas. Yeah, it looks pretty bad there. That makes sense. Um, let's
FHN is a buyout as well. The next one on the
The
list,
next one down.
both
Okay.
cash, so
Yeah.
nothing to trade there.
So nothing to look into that. Let's go ahead and just link this trade ideas window for us there. And here we are. Okay, perfect. So next one, also a buyout. So nothing to see here, guys. You could tell quickly for those new ones, a buyout, you get this initial pop. It looks good. Everybody's excited. And then just kind of goes sideways, typically with some heavy volume. So when you see that, if you just look at these numbers and you haven't looked at the chart, you think there might be something exciting happening. You look under the hood and there's not a whole lot going on there. Heading down to Indo. Indo is up
Some more gin
18.4.
juice.
Yes, 18.4. This stock has been really all over the place. I mean, very difficult to trade. 1.5 million shares flow. So, again, very, very low flow, very, very risky. For me, it's just not tradable. I'm not managing
No,
the
not
risk on
worth
this
it.
one. Not worth it. So we could find better things to trade. AU usually doesn't trade very well. This is a gold ticker, and
Yep.
right now they're up 6.8. So they're popping obviously on all the news going on. But for the most part, intraday trades on this is not great. I believe this is another one as well.
Yep.
SW, right? So another one on
Yeah,
here
it's another
also.
South African gold miner. Trades like
Uh,
garbage
Is there
generally.
is there and I don't know, is there an ETF that actually trades decent for gold? Is
I
there
don't
one?
trade gold. There are
I don't
gold
either. Yeah,
ETFs.
I'm sure probably Brian.
Brian's the one.
Yeah,
I know like Dust is Dust is a leveraged short gold. I'm trying to
yeah.
think of
See some of the moderators and members
yeah,
join
they'll
out
throw them out there.
GLD. So that's the Gold Trust there. So there might be some that are like, for
I
example, you look
just
at this one, and this has a lot more volume and movement. So maybe if you're interested in that, that could be something you can look at if you want to take an intraday trade on
there you
that.
go.
All right, heading down, guys. We got two. We got Plug and we got Lucid. Plug this morning up 5.3. Good volume today, so might be worth taking a look at this one. So there's Plug, and then we just had Lucid on there. I'm gonna pull it up. We just had Lucid on. Oh, can't type today. There we go. So Lucid this morning up 2%. Not doing a whole lot. Pretty flat right now. As far as pre-market action, 761,000. We'll see where this goes, but we'll add both of these for now. Let's go ahead, Control A, Control X to clear our list. I'm gonna
Lucid
throw
reports after the bell today. That's probably why they're on here.
That'd be nice to look at.
Plug reports after the bell tomorrow. As we've discussed many times, I'm not a huge fan of playing things prior to earnings. In anticipation of a catalyst, I like to wait till the actual catalyst is in. But Blink is after the bell, as our longtime member, good friend Zin says here.
Blink as well. Let's see what's going on with Blink.
And then Ride reported this morning, but they're not.
We'll put this actually here.
I was keeping an eye on them.
Blink, Lucid reports after as well, because this will be good after, not before. Again, being in before for a day trade, not knowing what you're going to expect. I mean, guys, it can be. That's, you want to talk about gambling. That's it right there.
It's a waste of monitor space, really. I think
that's
so. You will have sometimes you'll have some good moves, but let the scanner show them to me. I mean,
Yeah. Yep. If you're trading without it happening, you're pretty much just flipping a coin. All right, guys, let's take a look here. What else do we have? All right, that covers our gap up list. Let's look at our gap down this morning. AUPH today, they are down 19%, 1.1 million shares traded. So that's it's got decent volume. Not a decent trading stock though, but today their volume's a lot higher, Norm. So they must have something going on. Oh yeah, I see it. Pre-market earnings. Pre-market earnings today. So again, not the best ticker. I think worth putting as a possible. Maybe they're moving very well this morning, so that could be a difference maker today. Next, we have CYRN. They are 2.6 million shares flow, so a little bit on the lower side. I don't like the way they're setting up this morning for a low flow stock. They're down 13.3, 13.2, and they have no volume. So for a low flow, sitting at 2.6, this is no
garbage.
Good. This is no good.
Israeli software company had to reverse split earlier this month in order to get back in listing compliance. So garbage.
Okay. Here, guys, we have next is DB this morning, and DB at the moment down. This Dutch bank down 8.3. So again, they're getting slammed today. They must have some news. I don't see any earnings stuff on here, but they're definitely getting destroyed.
All this is going back to Russian stuff.
Makes sense.
Deutsche Bank, Germany, issues, problems.
And at the moment, this one doesn't trade very well at all, guys. So even if with this news, I mean, the drop looks good. They just don't trade well. They're horrible intraday trading stock. BP here. This is we got stuff going on with oil today. Yeah, we have tons of.
And they have a specific issue, and that is we discussed it, I believe, on Friday. They've got a 20%-ish stake in a large Russian oil company. They announced over the weekend that they are getting rid of that. They had a board seat that they have immediately resigned. So they're getting hit on that. Hello?
Yep, sorry, I hit the wrong button. Here, guys, BP. This is... again, it looks good today, guys. Maybe. I know a lot of people like this one, so I'll put it on here. We'll see where it goes. IRNT looking no good this morning. Really all over the place. TTE.
This French oil and gas company run.
Yeah. So this is, and you see a lot of these come up now. Shell. You got UBS, which I'm not sure what this is, but we've seen it before. Horrible. So we'll skip down. Let's see if we can find something good here. Foot Locker. Foot Locker actually might be
Swiss
decent.
Bank, same issue as DB.
Yeah.
All these like Foot Locker. Banks are getting hammered with what's going on. So
yeah. Foot Locker today down pretty nice here, down 3.7.
I just hear you say I like Foot Locker.
You know what? It was good on Friday, man. It was good on Friday, and I usually will dismiss this one. We had it on our secondary, and man, did it turn out to be a great short. I didn't get this initial pop because I didn't believe it was going to trade so well. We got it on a later pullback, and it did pretty good for this initial run. And I'm shocked how much this thing sold off on top of that. I mean, this thing was down pretty significant. Look at the open. You still got a nice run after. So I like them today for a secondary move. We'll see. We'll see where they got, decent volume. We'll see. Well, you know what? Compared to everything else is on this list, they're looking pretty good. Here is a Citigroup also down this morning, guys. I'm gonna skip on the banks today.
I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed in you.
This is why I turned off my camera, because I'm like, I know Norman's not gonna want to look at my face today after this. Here is CCO, my friends. They're down slightly. Again, they could be something there. I really haven't seen much action on CCL, American Airlines, unless the overall market is moving.
Well, they might get some action.
Yeah.
Norwegian the other day had earnings, had some losses, but they've got a bigger problem, and that is they're having to cancel cruises to Russian ports and such.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna hurt them big time. So maybe we'll have CCL here and see where that goes. They're down 2.7 right now, 366,000. Let's see where it goes. We've definitely seen better, but that news we can get the volume at the open. We got more banks. Bank of America, which actually not bad, but not great. NCLH is on here as well, guys, but the news is with CCL, so we'll see where that goes. All right, cool. Is this Carvana? Carvana, right? CVNA, Carvana. I think they had news last week, right? I think they were buying something. I forgot what it was. They were doing something, but either way,
earnings last week.
Yeah,
and they're buying auto auctioneer.
Gotcha.
That was one that was in play last week.
Got it. All right, so nothing going on here today, guys. We'll skip on that. All right, we cover our top and our gap up and gap down. Man, not a great list today, but we know it's going to happen, right? Norm, what do you have on your list that you're going to be watching today?
I've got some of the normal suspects: Facebook, Nvidia, Apple, and Square. Square was good. Friday. So.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There is no company named Square. It's Block.
But don't let the SQ confuse you. After so many years calling it that. SQ, Nvidia, Apple. I mean, these are the ones we've been watching for quite a bit, and they just done so well. If you guys remember Nvidia last week and Apple, just the run they had was just incredible. So we'll see where that goes this week as well. How this Monday opens up. Let's take it to the room, see what you guys like today. Let's start here with, what do we have? Let's go over with Courtney. You're giving us ENPH. That's another energy company. Looks interesting. ENPH. They're on the daily. They look good. They're a little more interesting at times. I've seen them actually do pretty well, and I've seen them do really, really bad. At the moment, it's just not too exciting for what I'm looking for here. So I'm gonna have to pass on that one. Let's take a look. NEO. Lewis is giving us NEO today. We'll take a look at that, and also Tesla. NEO has great volume this morning, 1.1 million shares traded. So let's add NEO to the list here. I do like that today. How is Tesla and the rest of the EV stuff going? Tesla today, not bad. I like NEO better though. This morning they got so much volume. Pre-market activity starting to really get going around 7:30. You see this here. Hopefully that can get better. We obviously have witnessed better pre-market action from them. But we'll add NEO to the list. We'll keep that as our EV. We also have Lucid here. We know they're reporting right after the bell, Norm, at any specific time. Do we know, or?
I don't know. I don't guess times on earnings.
Yeah,
because they don't often follow.
Yeah,
it's scheduled for right at the close at 4. So who knows?
Oh, yeah, at the close. Okay. Yep. Yeah, so who knows when that cycle is going to be. So that might be active tomorrow. Blink, the same thing there. Oh, look at PLTR from Joshua, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. Up 2%. Probably not. Yeah. The 1 million shares traded. Pre-market, man, it just doesn't look good. I don't see where there's 1 million shares being traded here.
Though. PLTR can get volume after the open.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put him as a pass. All right, let's do that. Pass on PLTR. Lucid we have on deck, guys. NEO is good. Tesla is Yeah, Tesla looks okay. I think we might get something out of these today. We'll have to wait for the market open. I do have Neo on here. I have Lucid already, so I'm not going to add too many. I know Lucid probably won't be crazy today, but who knows? Aside from us following our rules, usually we want to wait for them for the news to come out. Today, you might have overall just market stuff that might still move this decent. We'll have to see how it plays out. YNDX this morning. This is halted right now, right? I showed halted for trading news. So some news coming out on this. I'm going to put it on here. This will be our entertainment stock. Let's see what happens there. YNDX with everything going on. Obviously, not all good for these guys at the moment. We'll have to see where that goes. So YNDX there, news pending. Let's see what else we got here. RTX. What's RTX? What is that?
Yeah, Chris, the ruble's been just destroyed. I didn't dig too deep into it, but just what's going on in the Russian markets, and I don't think they're trading. I know that Friday they closed Thursday and said they wouldn't trade Friday, and I don't believe the Russian markets are open today in order to try to prevent a crash. I don't know when they're going to reopen. Eamon's confirming they're closed today. The ruble's gone to hell. I don't have the exact number, but I was just told by Chris MC 40 or 41% down. I know that they raised their central bank rate from 10-ish percent, nearly doubled to 20%. That's astronomical. Eamon, it's time to move to Canada, brother.
Yes. Guys, RTX no good. I mean, it's just I don't even know what this is, but this doesn't look great. RTX, what is this here? RTX is Raytheon Technology. So again, just a huge flow, 1 billion, and I just don't like the pre-market action or the volume they get for the most part. Nicey stock. So as you mentioned, they don't usually get great volume pre-market, but this one's not looking good, man. Not looking good.
Yeah, no.
All right, guys, we'll stop here. Again, we don't have a great list. A lot of stuff that looks decent is stuff that we know we've been watching for a bit. Apple, Nvidia, SQ, and Neo is partly there. Foot Locker was actually showing some good stuff last week. Let's see if that can continue today. They got some okay volume. We'll see. Not the best, but I know at the market open when those scanners get going, we can possibly pull some stuff off and take advantage of that. So with that said, guys, let's get to our community events and announcements for this week. And then right after that, we do have Creta for Monday's session today. So let's go jump right in and we'll fine tune this list a little bit later.
All right, guys. You start at the top, brother, with the weekly rundown.
Oh, yeah, one sec. Why is that showing us the first slide? Interesting.
Eamon, you're going to have to trade in Borscht for poutine here soon. All right. Monday, technology, swing trading with Brian, 2:30 in the afternoon. And then onboarding with Carlos at 7 p.m. And then technology, our special new technology series, 8 p.m. Every Monday night. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, you've got Trade Review with Eamon at noon. And Success Webinars, 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. Psychology, 8 p.m. Wednesday. And then mentorship on Thursday is going to be, it's Andrew at 11. He is in Argentina. Not sure if he'll make this week. Maybe somebody will cover. If not, 4 o'clock or 4:30, depending on what earnings are that day with Ed. And then Thor, 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about John's new trader Q&A, which I believe has actually shifted to 2 p.m., but we might have some stuff moving around. So we'll see. And then Crypto Jared, 11 a.m. Eastern. That's the onboarding class I just mentioned every Monday night, open to everybody, including intro members, 7 p.m. Eastern with Carlos in the classroom. And then the technology series is going to have Ed tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, talking about journaling trades. And then next week will be Kyle with Dash Trader Pro Q&A. Peter, tomorrow night, will be talking about his lightning bolt pattern, 8 p.m. Eastern for the strategy webinar, and then our success webinar. And then next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, Mike talking about how to determine when to move your stop to break even. Wednesday night this week, 8 p.m. Eastern, is going to be Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about avoiding the trading trance. And then next week, 5 p.m. special time due to our time zone, will be Kreda talking about how to identify negative thinking that causes losing trades. That should be an excellent webinar. Really looking forward to that one when I saw the title. As I mentioned, Thursday mentorship, Andrew at 11 a.m., Ed 4 or 4:30 p.m., Thor 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com, our free web-based trading replay simulator. You can go there and use that for free. Don't have to download any software or anything like that. And last but not least, if you're watching on YouTube, haven't been in the chat, you would like to try out Bearable Traders, you can go to bearabletraders.com, scroll down about halfway down the page, click Test Drive Now. You can use the promo code PREMARKET24. It'll get you a discount. It's 1 week. It does not charge you again, not a recurring payment. And then Lovers 50, the last few days of the Valentine's Day deal. Good morning, Kreda. How are you today? I can't hear you. Is it Carlos? Is it may be you? Carlos? Is it? All right, we'll get it fixed. We will figure it out. Carlos probably did get coffee. Is it?
No, I'm here, but everything looks good on my end.
Okay. Let's see if she can figure hers out. Sign language. I only know one phrase in sign language, Isaac.
All right,
I don't think I want
Kreda,
to
can you
show
hear
that
us?
to Kreda. She can hear us, I think. Okay.
Okay. All right. Is that a red button
Is that
on?
new mic? Is that a new mic, Kreda? No? Well,
Does the red mean mute or no? I don't remember.
I can't remember. I think it blinks if it's muted.
Oh yes, I think it does. Yeah. All right, we'll do this. We'll go start doing levels. We'll see if we can figure out the volume.
Kreda, try to work on it and just start talking. We should hear you, and we'll bring you on if you fix it. If not, we'll figure something else out.
Yep, absolutely. All right, guys, let's continue here with levels. Let's look at what we have. We have Foot Locker right now. We have Apple. We have NVIDIA, SQ, and NEO. So these are looking decent. Not great, but they're looking decent. So let's do some levels for this. We'll start over with Foot Locker right now. Let's see what's happening there. Pre-market action looking very active after such a huge drop on Fridays. On Friday, again, it was earnings, right? I think, Norm, that didn't go well for these things. So
yeah, absolutely.
Earning kind of got them destroyed there. So definitely like them for today. We'll see here. They had a beautiful run too, guys. After such a big drop, they recovered nicely when the market started kind of bouncing back a little bit. They did as well. 27.88 is the low of the pre-market. The high of the pre-market coming over at around 29. There it is. 29 or so, right below the previous day close, and then slightly around that you do have your highs and lows from the last two trading days, which is really all you need right now, right? If you lose this low from Friday, which is pretty low here, 26.43 from where the price action is now, we'll see if that's going to run lower. We can actually get more levels there, so we'll leave that the way it is for now. Here is Apple, guys. Apple this morning. Look at our levels that we have here. Basically, they're overlapping our highs and lows right now. So we're going to just remove those there. So you can see it looked like almost nothing changed there. But that's because we had some pretty good levels from Friday's action or the day before. 161.37 is the low of the pre-market. High of the pre-market, guys, coming in at 163.80. So that's looking good there as well. And actually, we can put one right over here as well. I don't think we'll get there, but 154.79 just in case. Right now, here's what the actions are around this price, these highs and lows from the last two trading days. Is what we got going on there at the moment. We'll see where this is going to play out. Again, eyes on the SPY. I mean, these tickers, NVIDIA, Apple, some of the AMD, right? What is AMD up to, by the way? We didn't look at that one. AMD, yeah, AMD as well could be a good one. They've been just moving with the overall market. Tech, of course, has been ahead of the price action and volume So it's been fun to really watch them do their thing here. So we have Apple, levels are set there. Here's Nvidia. This morning, it's just kind of chopping around a little bit below the previous day close here. As far as levels, if we remove our previous levels, all you need to mark down here looks like just the high of the pre-market 239, 240, and then the low of the pre-market 235.20, right? Outside of that, I don't think you need to do anything else here. So we'll keep that as is. Now heading back over here towards the, hold on a second. There we go. So heading back towards our list here, we have SQ. SQ right now, again, just a huge gap up on Friday. Did very, very well. Love the pre-market 114.80. The high of the pre-market slightly below the previous day close, sitting at 118.92. So we'll slam that there as well. Surrounding the pricing, actually got highs and lows from the last 2 trading days. But more importantly, I like the possibility of getting this going. If we can break off from this area of resistance, that previous day close line, you can see he struggled on that on Friday, and it has been struggling a couple of days trying to get above that. So we'll keep that on there. Here we do have 126 seems to be the next best level towards the top. We'll keep on the lookout for that opportunity to get going here. Above that, we do have 131.01, so we'll put a level there as well. And we are all set. Here's NEO, guys. So NEO this morning, surrounding highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, as many stocks have the same particular pattern, right? We have the drop and then come back up there. So we're all set there. And I believe we have, okay, I believe we have Creator now. So I'm going to bring her in. Let's just do a quick test here and see if it's good to go now.
Creator? Can I? No, still no sound.
Yeah, still. All right, still nothing coming in. So this is what we'll do, Creator. Maybe we'll reschedule this for another time, right? We won't hold you up because it might
we'll
be.
We'll get you next week. Well, same topic. I was really looking forward to it today because it's super interesting. She's going to talk about what your childhood has to do with your trading.
Yes.
So
yes.
I think it'll be fun to tell. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happened to all. It's happened to all of us at some point. I think I did the entire show once. Remember that? What was that? About a year ago when I was giving thumbs up or thumbs down when tickers. Yeah, it's happened to me too. So
yeah,
we'll get it fixed. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Creator, for hopping on.
Have a great week.
All right, yeah, because my dad might not fix it until she actually restarts her computer.
Restart all that. Yeah. So we won't keep her around.
All right, guys, let's take a look at here.
She got all ready for us, and
I know, and the topic. I mean, it's just looking forward to it, guys. Well, if you have not subscribed to the channel and you want to keep up what's coming up, now is a great time to do that. Subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and make sure you step today. What's happening?
People are asking if we can do Creator tomorrow and said, unfortunately not. She has a very, very busy schedule, and we're lucky enough to have her on Mondays. So we'll just have to push it to next week, which I may or may not be here, but we'll see.
Yeah. So apologies for that, guys. But it'll be worth the wait, I'm sure. Guys, here's Neil, surrounded by the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days. I'm going to just mark down the low here, 2047. Good activity. They got some volume, 1.2 million. Not popping a whole lot this morning. We'll have to see at the market open how that goes. Go ahead. You had something?
No, Credo was texting me.
Okay. Gotcha. Here we go on AMD, guys. So AMD this morning, we are down 1.2, 686,000 shares traded. Very similar to what we've been seeing with these tech companies. It's just going to mark down the high of the pre-market at 120. And then we got this nice area of resistance here where the previous day close line is. If we can get above that, maybe around 124, you see some areas of resistance here. A lot of tickers touching that with their wicks there, opening and closing around that area. So that's what we have, guys. I mean, we have main list Foot Locker getting a little bit of a bounce of 27.88 there. Thor had an incredible trade in the chat room on this one on Friday. He caught the reversal, which I'm horrible at reversal, but he did very well there. Hopefully you guys took advantage of that as well in chat. Here is Apple. Apple, again, they're not looking great, but they got so much potential, as we've seen over and over again. I know you might be getting tired of putting Apple and Nvidia on your list, but you know what's hot is hot, and that's what's hot. Here's SQ, here's Neo, and we have another AMD. So again, a little tech heavy, but that's okay. All right, secondary list, we have AUPH. I just don't know. I mean, I have this here. I love the drop, but it's really a ticker that does not trade very well. We have Plug. Actually, Plug is starting to look pretty interesting on this drop here. 700,000, up 5.1. A few of the tickers are up this morning. Plug is one of them. So I don't know. Maybe we'll keep Plug a close eye on Plug there. We got BP, CCL, and PLTR. So
This
guys,
market looks like garbage this morning.
it does. It does. It doesn't look great. That's why
I
you
think it'll
see us.
change.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we're watching. Some of the stuff that has been trading well after the bell goes off, right? That's kind of like the idea at the moment. Guys, let's get over to our moderators list is not complete yet, so we'll give them a little bit more time to get going. But we have time since we got a segment now. We have time for some questions. We can get into some comments that we can take from you guys as our moderators put their list together. We got actually pretty good time, about 15 minutes or so to get into things. So let's do that. Any questions me and Norm can answer for you, or any other ticker that we can look into that's not already on this list that has some good movement, good catalyst, anything that we can dive into. T-Doc, this is the Teledoc one, right? Oh, look at this. What's going on with T-Doc today? T-Doc taken off this morning. So some news breaking out, obviously, and they're going from 70 to 80 down to 76 now. So careful, guys, with this thing. Obviously, it's moving.
Yeah, it moves like crazy.
Very risky, very risky. So very, very
Doesn't
careful.
have that
there.
much volume, frankly.
No, only 108, which is not great to see that type of volume with that move, right? So
yeah, I don't see anything. I'm not seeing anything really that interesting on news either. So something must have just popped a couple of minutes ago. I don't have it yet. Maybe Squawk said something. I missed it. Trying to figure out Creta.
So no. Again, it's popping now. But I just don't see how we look at this at the moment. We'll have to wait for it to settle
Alexa
down. Alexa
partnership.
Okay.
That just gives Amazon the reason to listen to you all the time to see if you're starting to feel sick, I guess.
Yes. We'll see. Throwing out big names there, so we'll see how that's going to play out today. All right, heading on down. I see a lot of guys throwing RTX. Why RTX? Is give me the reason for RTX if you have
Russia.
it, because this is it. All right, yeah. So
no, that's it's Raytheon, defense,
yeah.
Russia, nuclear war. I think they might benefit.
Yeah, I just don't know how well these guys trade. Well, they don't trade well, period, to begin with. I don't know today how you trade these. I'm not interested in this one at all. Couple of guys throwing out Facebook, SoFi. Let's take a look. Facebook, Meta here.
If Creta signs into the room, Carlos, could you take her directly from the room and just rebroadcast it to?
Yes, we can. We can do that. If she's ready to go and sign into the room, we can actually give that a shot. And yes, we should be able to do that. We're just thinking that through, but yeah, we can.
Yeah, keep doing levels, and I'll see if I can get her to do that.
Okay, excellent. All right, we'll be ready for her if she does. And then over here, guys, let's take a look. So Facebook, FB, yeah. This is interesting as far as the daily and what we're going to see in a couple of days or who knows when, weeks. Right now, I don't see anything crazy on it. We had the nice drop here, which again, overall market stuff took over here. Aside from their horrible trading and drops lately, that's just kind of popped up here. The market has taken over really their movements. I don't see anything great on this one right now. Again, I think at the market open, guys, you are going to get a lot of action. So we really have to wait for that before you start adding a whole bunch of tickers to the list here. What else? What else can we get into? Carlos is the clock at the bottom right corner from DAS. How to set it up? Yes, that is from. Oh no, that's not from DAS. That one clock there is from. That's another software that on YouTube. That's a different software. The one for DAS I have here, which looks like this. And this is the one that I look at. This is the market time, right? So I have this one at the bottom here. You guys can see it, but I have it here. So that's the one for DAS. DAS has a market clock, which is the one you should follow because it's right on the market. So, and you can get that from your settings. T-Doc and Amazon, yeah. So again, T-Doc, yeah, I'm aware of that one. It's just, look at this thing. It wants to go now, hitting 79. Looks like heading back towards the highs here. Again, just be very, very careful with this pre-market action we're getting.
Creda's going to try to log into the room, I think.
Okay,
So
excellent.
I'll let her know. We've got time this morning, guys. Creda is here. I see her just logged in. So she's going to try to hop on, guys, in the room. And if I see her camera pop up, she is on the mic. I cannot hear you, Creda, because, hang on. Okay, now I can.
You could hear her?
Yes,
Okay.
perfect. So
right.
There you go. Just do the room, Carlos. I
Yep.
cannot talk to you because there's a massive echo when I'm here, but you're going to be, like I said, talking about what your childhood has to do with trading. So take it away.
All right, just give me a second while I switch her over, so there's no echo for everybody else.
Little glitch we had, but we're here and it's all good. So now I feel like there's a big build up to this topic, so it better be a good one. So it is my probably favorite topic of all of the coaching that I do in trading psychology. And it's the one that takes people a little while to actually click into and to, I guess, want to explore, because it can be a little bit scary for people. So we're talking about what your childhood has to do with your trading. And this picks up on a topic that I've talked about a lot. So that's the subconscious mind and its role in your trading. But this takes it another step further. So I'm going to recap for anyone who's not familiar with what the subconscious has to do with your trading, and then we'll dive a little deeper. So basically, when you're breaking your trading rules or you're acting in some form that's self-sabotage in your trading, so deviating from your plan, jumping out of trades too soon, hesitating to trade trades, revenge trading, all of that good stuff that really negatively impacts your P&L. When you're doing that and you're not sure why you're doing it, so it feels impulsive and you can't actually really understand what's going on for you, then most likely something along this pathway is happening for you. So the first part of it is that there's something in your subconscious mind that is blocking your conscious goals. So your conscious mind says, I want to make loads of money in trading. I have this great trading plan. I know that it works. You know, when I test it, I know that this strategy is profitable. And all I have to do is get into the market and execute it, and happy days. I'm on the way to buying my Lamborghini. So in an ideal world, that would be lovely and it would all happen like that. But what happens is, if there's anything sitting in your subconscious mind that is not aligned with your conscious goal of making money or sticking to your trading plan, then your subconscious mind is going to win, because it rules 95% of your actions. So your conscious mind only rules 5%, and your subconscious really rules the roost. What has that got to do with your childhood? Well, here's where we get into the really deep psychology stuff. So this is kind of coming from psychoanalysis, if anyone's interested in the actual psychology part of it. But let's talk about it in relation to your trading. So what would your childhood have to do with your trading? Well, it's in our childhood that we form our beliefs around the world, so our deeply held beliefs around the world, and where we learn from our parents or caregivers how to actually navigate the world. And this relationship with our parents or caregivers when we're kids can shape how we interact in our relationships with other people, how we approach achievement, and of course, how we actually act in our trading. And so I'll give you some concrete examples to explain this. So the market can often symbolize an authority figure for people. And this all happens at the level of your subconscious. So you're not going into the market, you know, consciously thinking this is an authority figure and I'm going to show it who's boss. But it all happens at this deeper level. So you'll often find that people, when the market does something that they don't like, they want to get back at it, and that can lead to revenge trading. So if we know that the market is neutral and it doesn't know we exist, so from a logical perspective, that doesn't make sense. But what's happening is that the person is projecting their feelings and beliefs around authority figures onto the market and then reacting accordingly. So they're having their own little fight with the market, and the market doesn't even know they exist. But how is this linked to your childhood? So depending on the relationship you had with your parents or caregivers, let's say that you had a strained relationship with your parents. So you had a very authoritarian parent who, you know, expected very high standards of you and punished you quite harshly anytime that you stepped out of line. So you might be actually rebelling in your trading. So you're taking that relationship that happened for you as a kid, it sits in your subconscious. It informs everything that you do throughout life until you actually become consciously aware of it. So when you go into the market and the market smacks you down, tells you who's boss, you immediately want to rebel. But the level of emotion that's causing that action, which will eventually result in revenge trading, is coming from the emotion that you feel around that other relationship from your childhood. So this is a very deep topic, obviously, so I'm kind of just skimming the surface here. But to give you some other examples of how this can play out. So we've talked about the idea of perfectionism and people not being able to accept a mistake in trading or accept a loss. And that's a huge issue for people. And it can lead to all sorts of things like jumping out of trades too soon, revenge trading again to try and make up for a loss, all of that. But that can be linked to a childhood relationship as well. So let's say that your parents demanded a lot of you, and when you achieved high grades or whatever else it was, so, when you achieved perfection or what they saw as perfection, you were rewarded with love. You can be playing that relationship out in the market. So if you're going to lose a trade, or if a trade goes against you, you're not only losing the P&L, so you're not only negatively impacting the P&L and losing money, but you're actually replaying out this relationship, and your subconscious mind is actually linking that with the idea of losing love or approval. And that's going to cause a massive emotional reaction. So that's another example of how this can play out. So again, this is a very deep topic. I'll give you one more example. So one is around control. So again, if you were a child and you lived in a chaotic enough environment. So let's say whatever happened in your circumstances in your family, there was a lot of unpredictability and what you might call chaos, or just things were unpredictable and you spent a lot of time feeling anxious. You might learn to try and control things as a way to stop yourself from feeling anxious as a child. So it's a coping mechanism that you use as a child that helped you to navigate that experience. Well, now when you're in the market, the most unpredictable thing in the world, you're there in the market and it's being unpredictable, and that triggers your feeling of anxiety. So you want to control things. So you over control the trade. You can't just, put it on and then sit back and let your plan unfold. You feel like you have to jump in and micromanage it. So again, that can be coming from feelings of anxiety as a child and using this coping mechanism of control. So again, this will take quite a lot of self-reflection and deep digging to get to the root of. But what I'm just offering to you today is a way of explaining that things in your subconscious can be formed from your childhood, and they might be one of the reasons why you're breaking your trading rules. So with the level of information that I've given you today, what you could do is I'm just inviting you to actually look at how you're breaking your trading rules, if that's happening for you, or how you're deviating from your trading plan. Reflect on whether that seems to link or mirrors any relationship that you have in your life currently, or that you had as a child, or your experience when you were a child. And if you can make that link and see any sort of resemblance between the two, then you're probably on the right track. And if you can directly make that link, then you're quite far down the line to actually transforming that behavior and stopping that self-sabotage for good. So we might dig into this in a later webinar, because obviously it's quite an extensive topic, but I just want to leave that with you to start your thinking of a Monday morning, so you can start digging into your childhood and seeing if you can make more profit from your trading from doing so.
Now, I'm not going to be able to talk to Creda because there will be a weird delay and echo, but thank you very much. Yeah, take care, Creda. Thank you very much. Thanks for sticking through and persevering through the issues. Have a great weekend. Take care. That was, I hope we dig a little more into that. I think that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Let me just make sure we're good here, guys, in the chat room. I got to reshare my screen. All right. Thank you, Creda, for that very, very much. We'll just reset our chat room screen and my volume as well in the chat. And I think there we're good to go. All right. Excellent.
Thank you, Creda. I know you guys couldn't hear me, but I said that was an awesome topic. I think it should be interesting to explore that a little bit further in the future. So thanks to Creda for sticking through and persevering.
All right, guys, over on YouTube, thumbs up for Creda. Appreciate that very, very much. All right, just take a look at the SPY here. We are done, guys. 9:17, so we don't have much time. Let's just go over to our moderators lineup, and then we'll do that, and then we'll call it a day. We'll hand it over to Brian this morning for some live trading in our chat room. Moderators lineup, guys. Today we have Susan looking at the SPY, Nvidia, secondary list, Tesla. We have Peter, no IPOs, no SPACs for today. We have Thor looking at SPY, Apple, Lucid, SQ, and Neo. Aim is going to be looking at MRO, possible long, possible shorts, GameStop, and Oxy. Peter's looking at AMD, Apple, CCL, secondary list BP, Lucid, and SQ. Dima, Apple, AMD, Plug, and Facebook. And Tiffany, Nvidia, Apple, and BP this morning. So there it is. That is your moderators lineup for this morning. Brian should be coming on with his list shortly of what he likes today. Our list here, guys, we're looking at Foot Locker getting a nice little bounce here. We'll see how that goes. We have Apple, we have Nvidia, SQ, like many of our moderators watching Apple, Nvidia, and SQ, obviously for reasons, because we've seen how good those have been lately. A few of us watching Neo as well, and of course, Peter's watching AMD, which looks very good too. I think we're setting out to have a better morning than it was before Creator hopped on. So Creator's making our morning better already. So guys, over on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Really appreciate it. Do not forget, we have our onboarding class today at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to join us for that, myself and other moderators will be there. We'll answer any questions you guys might have and kind of give you an overview of what the environment is like. And aside from that, you get access to 2 chat rooms for 7 days, right? So 7 days you get to access the main chat and also Ed's chat. Take advantage of that. Here's Brian's list to finish it off here, guys. We have AUPH, Plug, SQ, XLE, the Qs, and Indo for sure. Indo for fun. I am sure. All right, guys. Have a great one. If you haven't done so, here's your last opportunity to hit that thumbs up. We're at 225. We love being at 250, 300. We appreciate you guys being here this morning. We'll see you again at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Have a good one.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.